It's your daily dose of Donna. Welcome to the show. Today is Thursday, February 15th. It is officially the end of Valentine's Day, and I did not do my job. I did not finish all the chocolates. I even got additional chocolates. This See's Candies box came from Lands yesterday, so I've got a lot of sugar to be eating before the next holiday. I mean, do you get like St. Patrick's Day chocolates, or is that just not a thing? We go straight to Easter, right? We go straight from Valentine's Day to Easter. Welcome to the show. Lots of comments. So excited, you guys. We have Ryan Bailey from So Bad It's Good coming in just a few minutes. I just want to do some, announcements, some homework. Lots of you guys bought the virtual ticket for Zach's live show last night, and I just heard that there was some sort of a live stream dilemma. I am not involved in like the making of the show, but it was really fun. I'm going to talk more about that on Patreon later today about hanging out with Paul and Patrick and Lance. And we were up on stage in addition to hanging out with Chris and Takeman and Christian from the first season of Traitors. And he was like the normie that went to the finale or to the end with Suri and got some good scoop about that. So we're going to get into all of that. But before we get into the show, I want to shout out our first sponsor of Daily Dose of Donna, and that is RHOBH. So if you are in the process right now of trying to lose your Valentine's Day weight, then RHOBH may be the one for you, because we do want to be able to live a good lifestyle and eat all the fun things. But, at the end of the day, we're shallow, right? We want to look good. So Ro provides access to the most popular weight loss shots on the market. The RHOBH program pairs a weekly shot with healthy lifestyle changes so you can lose 15 to 20% of your weight in a year on average and actually keep it off. And there's so many people that have done this. Over 200,000 members have already chosen Ro to help them lose weight. So average weight is 15 to 20% in 1 year with healthy lifestyle changes. Make sure to sign up today and you'll pay just $99 for your first month and $145 a month after that. Medication costs are of course separate, but you can go to that's RO .co/Donna. That's RHO.co/Donna. And our second sponsor of this week's shows it's perfect for using with RHOBH, and that's Factor Meals. So just make sure to feed yourself with good, healthy, ready-to-eat meals, and Factor is the perfect place to go for that. That means that you can just work all day, live your life, go out to the happy hours, do whatever you want to do, and then come home to a ready-to-eat meal. It makes eating better every day easy. Wherever tomorrow takes you, be ready with pre-prepared, chef-crafted, and dietitian approved meals delivered right to your door. You'll have over 35 different options a week to choose from. And you can choose all kinds of diets: keto, calorie smart, vegan, and veggie, etc. So sign up and save. Factor is less expensive than takeout, and every meal is dietitian approved to be nutritious and delicioso. Head to factormeals.com/Donna50 and use code Donna50 to get 50% off. That's code DANA50 at factormeals.com/Donna50 to get 50% off. Okay. Check. We have talked about Factor. We have talked about RHOBH. And now we're going to talk about a podcaster who is just all over he's everywhere. He's everywhere. Everyone, welcome So Bad It's Good host Ryan Bailey to Daily Dose.
What up, dosers? What's going on?
I love
Factor too, by the way. Factor, fun, easy, quick meals. I love it.
Oh my gosh. So I love Factor too. I never thought that I was going to be that person because I'm always someone that I enjoy cooking. I don't know about you. Do you cook?
No. Factor is perfect for me. Like, I cook on the microwave. It's like 2 minutes, bam, easy.
You cook on the microwave. So that may be hard. Yeah. You should cook in the microwave.
That's what I meant, in the microwave. Sorry, I'm not even good with the microwave cooking. I'm sorry.
Ryan, I feel like, because I just listened to you this morning on Jeff Lewis Extended, longer and stronger. Wait, what is the tagline? It's longer
Jeff
and hard.
I actually don't know what the tagline is, but they changed it from Jeff Lewis After Show to Extended, and that just feels potentially dirty. Like, we're just like, extended? What does this
Well,
even
of course
mean?
it feels dirty. It's a Jeff Lewis. Like, of course, when you hear the word extended, you're gonna think of something that grows, you know? But I think that this show can be called Jeff Lewis Extended Venti Double, like triple cappuccino
That's
daily
a long
dose.
name, Donna. That's a
Ooh,
very
we should
long
figure it.
name.
We
Yeah.
should like work
Yeah.
on it. Maybe we should have like
No,
planned that.
I know we should. Yeah. By the way, I'll pass it on to Jeff next time. She said a venti, Trenti, extended, bigger show. That's what it
Bigger,
is.
longer, harder, stronger.
Yeah, that's it.
And then I
That
have to
actually is good.
Yeah, bigger. I mean, really, honestly, it's like if we weren't so into canceling Kanye, I feel like we would use his song, like better, faster, stronger, whatever that song is.
Yeah, the one that samples Daft Punk, which is a great song. Like, it's so conflicting with that doofus. I hate that there's so many songs that I love, and
I
we're just so
know.
past that point of
Yeah, like,
love.
what do you do when you love an artist and then they're just stupid and they say things that you're not? It's like Erica Jane. What are we gonna do about Erica
Or
Jane's
hey, or
music?
Tom Sandoval. What I mean, like, what, are we still supposed to support Tom Sandoval's music? I
Or
mean,
I
or
mean, did
Erica
you
Jane?
ever?
No, I actually did. I was one of those people that I was like, this is pretty cool because I celebrated somebody that was like, oh, it's kind of weird. And it was like a fun. I've been to like 3 Tom Sandoval shows. I've been to 4 Countess Luann shows. Like, I was like following her around like the Grateful Dead for a while. And it's fun and funny, but then it just became not fun and funny last year. And that's what it was so funny that his shows were still selling out amidst the scandal of it all.
I
It
know.
was
Well, in fact,
hysterical.
I mean, I honestly think Scandival did well for his band because I don't
I
think a
think
lot
for
of people.
everybody.
100%. And I did a whole Vanderpump thing yesterday. And listen, I had a TikTok that is just exploded because I said that I think Vanderpump Rules has jumped the shark. I'm struggling this season. What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, I listen. We're only 3 episodes in. I think even when Scandival broke, it wasn't until like the 4th or 5th episode last season. I think this show and a lot of Bravo shows get written off really quickly. My thing is always stick with them. You
Mhm.
never know what's going to pop up, but I think there's an overall exhaustion with Vanderpump News, obviously. But then that trails through all of the shows. Like, I found like Beverly Hills this week to be kind of lackluster. I thought when they get to the ends of the season, you're kind of like, oh, let's get there already. But with Vanderpump Rules, we're still hot off the heels of Scandival, but we know so much of the plot line already because it's been, I need them to stop doing podcasts. The podcast of it all is just ruining the experience because, he did that Nick Vile podcast. And I'm like, spoiler alert, you still haven't changed. We know that he goes through this season and he did that podcast like a month ago. He's still as angry as ever. And that's the disappointing thing because you're like, oh, maybe there's some sort of conflict resolution this season, but nope. So it's kind of weird.
No, I totally agree. And I think, and it's weird coming from the fact that we have podcasts and we want to talk to
Yeah.
these people, but at the same time, there needs to be some sort, either you need to shorten the turnaround time between when you're filming a season and when you're airing it, or you need to put a little bit of a muzzle on certain kind of press. And I understand like a lot of these women, especially the women, well, all of them actually have podcasts and they make their money. Sheena needs to do her podcast for
Oh
the
man, if
shenanigans
you're
of it
doing
all.
shenanigans right now, God, that got name dropped so much this past episode. It's like, wow. I mean, what like that's so great for her podcast. But I always think about the overall health of the show. And I think the show has to always be the number one and protect that with everything that you have. But I think Bravo and reality shows in general are in like a new frontier because of shows like ours, where we dissect every little moment. And sometimes I think we might even be thinking so intensely about it that the producers sometimes haven't even thought of certain things that podcasters are thinking about. So I always thought, and I always pitch this idea, is that there needs to be a wrap-up show every week on Bravo just to fill in the gaps of everything that happened that week online. Because so many things are
100%.
happening in the comments, in Twitter, like all of these things, and it can be kind of maddening for the audience because you're like, oh, I didn't know that happened, or I did. Like, I mean, even Larsa and Marcus this week, they broke up, now they're
It's
back
one of my
together.
stories
We haven't
today.
gotten to see them.
Yeah.
It's wild. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. There's two, because the fans of Bravo are just so ingrained and they're so obsessed, and there's nothing that gets by us. And in fact, like I get called out a lot on my show. I don't know if you do, if I get a fact wrong, because that happens, like you'll say something like yesterday. Okay, I had no idea about this, Ryan, but I want to say this because I think this is important. The waiter that came up to Tom at the end of this episode when he was sitting in the back with
Oh,
Kyle Chan.
Jesse Montana. Yeah, he's been on my show before. And he
Montoya.
just
Don't say Montoya. I think it's Montoya. Is
I
it
thought it was
Montana?
Montana. No, Jesse Montana. Jesse Montana.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to get it
Yeah.
wrong again.
But he just had a brain injury and had to go through surgery. So it was great to see him pop up. But he's been there kind of from the beginning as well, working at Sir Jesse.
Yes.
So it was great to see him pop up.
And I'm glad that there's people like you who know and recognize these things. And maybe it's because I wasn't watching like seasons 1 through 8 with a Bravo podcaster eye, but that like totally skipped over my head. And everyone called me out yesterday because the Bravo fans know it all. Like the producers can't pull anything from those Bravo fans. And I don't know. I will give Vanderpump every single chance it can have because I love loving these shows so much and I really want it to get better. And I do agree that sometimes these seasons take a moment to like kind of find their footing.
Yeah.
But what you just said is so interesting. We already know that we're not going to be seeing a redemption arc from Tom Sandoval because we know in real life.
Well, everybody, I mean, this week's episode, Lisa and Schwartz are like, you've got to give him a chance. Oh, goodness. Oh, my God. So we have people fighting for Tom to get back in the group. I just think that anger that you see him coming into that scene with Lisa, it seems like that has not dissipated. I mean, just a month ago on that Bio podcast, he was very angry still. And I understand anger to a degree, but I think that's the thing with a lot of reality stars is their ego gets in the way so much that it really kind of stops them from actually healing at all. And I'm no Rachel fan, obviously, but she's the only person that went away and actually went to a mental health facility. And then she got dinged for it this episode of like, I can't believe she didn't call to wish me a happy birthday, dude. She's in a mental health facility. Like, what part of this are you not getting? In fact, that's where you should be to actually learn about your behavior and your patterns.
He actually needs it probably more than she did. And honestly, it's so true that I think just like Erica Jane said, it's not about what you do. It's more about how you recover from these things and kind of your reaction, which we can talk about separately because that documentary, have you seen The Hustler and the Housewives?
Yeah, an hour and 34 minutes. I didn't expect it to be that long. And then I was like, I mean, it's it's so investigated. The LA Times, produced this stuff. I mean, it's really intense. And by the way, still doesn't make Erica look good at the end of the day. And then when she brings up in Beverly Hills, she's had a good season or better season than most for like the last couple of hers. But every time she brings up those victims or the thing, she loses me completely because it's like Tom. She still doesn't seem to get the overall picture. Like you may not have been like doing all the financial documents, but your reaction to this, your learning of empathy that still doesn't seem to be there is just really sad.
Totally. I totally agree. And I think that I've talked about this before, that a lot of housewives, a lot of Bravo stars need empathy training. They need some sort of like psychiatric.
No, that was the first episode of Beverly Hills this season. She's like, what's empathy? What is this empathy you speak of? Like, we're actually learning, like, we're actually watching these people learn, like, empathy. Like, Sheena in this week's episode, like, we watched her learn in real time. So she was like, I don't know why Sandoval hasn't unblocked me, but I guess I do make fun of him. Like, she learned.
I guess I have thrown him, to the wolves.
I guess that's how this show works. Like, she's 11 seasons into the show. She was like, I guess we all do go after each other. I was like, this is amazing. She's learning.
But Summer Moon didn't, and Summer Moon got thrown into this. She didn't
Summer
ask
Moon.
for it.
I really hope we get a scene between Summer Moon and Sandoval where he has to apologize. I'm like, I'm so sorry, dude. It's just so intense. And like, you didn't have anything directly to do this, so I hope it didn't affect any of your playground activities. I'm so sorry. Your collateral damage of all of this. And by the way, somebody in your comments of like the Ken of like, did you know Tom Sandoval was in the jacuzzi with her? I can't believe that. Which, by the way, I wanted Ken. Like, Ken is my favorite on Vanderpump Rules. Anytime we get a Ken scene, I just love that he's like hobbling around. And he's like,
it's unbelievable. I mean, he was only on the phone this week when she was at Pump, and I still felt so like I love Ken, and I want to see how red he is this season. The redness really ups it every season.
But Sandoval yelling at Lisa, like, no, Lisa, you don't know. If Ken was there, he'd be like, I'd knock your spot clean out. Like when he did that to DJ James Kennedy a couple seasons ago when he was like insane. Drunk and crying. He's like, I'll knock your spot clean out, boy. And DJ James Kennedy was like, Ken, I'm sorry, Ken, please, Ken.
I would be devastated beyond belief if Lisa and Ken were mad at me. Like, I wouldn't know
Oh,
how to function. I would be like, no, not Lisa, not Ken. Wait, we
wait.
have a question here. We got a little donation from Joe. He says, will Schwartz ever realize that he's in a codependent relationship with Sandoval, or is he just fine with it? The VPR after shows are so cringe to watch with both Toms
Yeah.
doubling down on their behaviors. I agree. That's another thing. We're seeing these after shows, which when do you think they were filmed?
The after shows, I mean, they, I think, like probably like a month ago. I mean, they're filmed a lot closer to air dates, and you know, it's really fascinating. They're like 22-minute episodes, but he's right. Like these people double down, like, and they're just so unaware. Like Sandoval literally was making fun of Sheena's performing on this week's after show when he doesn't even realize his own performance is like kind of weird and screamy as well. And it's hard because I think Lisa at the top of the food chain, he really supports these men's behavior, even though she says she doesn't. She's the one of like, I don't, the punishment doesn't fit the crime. If Ariana wasn't living her best life, you know, and it's like, just because Ariana isn't crying on camera, we now have like, it's wild to me. Some of the thought, like everybody is crying about this, except for the person who should be crying about it, Ariana. And she is strong. She's not going to let herself cry on camera. And that dings her. Like we're supposed to not like her because she's the only one not crying about this. And that's
Well,
why it's ridiculous.
no, and I think what happens here is that she is either she's trying to be strong because she doesn't want to look weak, like Sandoval tore her apart and she's actually sad, or she's just she functions differently. Not everyone falls apart and cries all day when they're going through grief. Some people get angry. Some people get really just, combative or whatever. I think it was interesting when Lisa said, poor Sandoval, like Ariana's living her best life. And then she did say, but if Ken did this to me, I would,
I would cut his willy off and put it up his butt. I'd like for you to put my willy up my butt, Lisa. I can't believe
in the
that.
jacuzzi.
I can't believe in the jacuzzi you put.
Put
But
my
also
belly on my
in the
butt.
midst of that conversation with Schwartz, which was kind of intense, talking about Sandoval, having dark thoughts, and Schwartz's brother. She then, misses no chance to plug. She's like, that's why we've got to go to Wolf by Lisa Vanderpump in Tahoe. It's a very sexy restaurant. Like out of nowhere, shifts gears and like then plugs a new restaurant, which is very Lisa Vanderpump. I love
I mean,
that.
one restaurant down, another one has to come up, right? And now I want to go to the sexiest restaurant in Lake Tahoe, Wolf. I
Is
mean,
that
that's
even possible to have the sexiest restaurant in Tahoe? Like, and I just think it's
Tahoe is
like
like ski
wolf,
lodge, right? Like what kind of
wolf, wolf by
I
Lisa
would love
Vanderpump.
to. I mean, we're getting Wolf Rules, or like you can't say that. Wolf Rules.
Oh
That's hard to
well,
say.
so on Hulu they're releasing Vanderpump Villa
Villa.
in I think beginning of April, and I
Yep.
got to watch a bunch of the episodes already, and it's very funny. It's like a whole new crew of wacko bartenders and servers, but it's in France at like this vineyard place. But it is funny. Like Lisa doesn't miss a beat. Like there's like different iterations of Lisa shows. I remember when she tried to do the Vanderpump Dogs ones, and
It's nonstop. This woman is a machine. I mean, we heard that Larsa works hard on Real Housewives of Miami with her tequila brand, but no one works as hard as Lisa Vanderpump. She is the hardest
yeah.
working number one girl in the group, other than you, Ryan. We got a couple other questions. What was your favorite? 8.5's Diamond and Champagne Brunch, which we'll get into in just a moment, or Lisa Vanderpump's Diamond and Rosé Dinner a few seasons back. Nice to see some Corbell in Beverly Hills. Wait, what was Lisa Vanderpump's Diamond and Rosé Dinner? Which one was that?
I mean, I think that was like season 8, potentially, if I'm
Wow.
not season 7 or 8. But
I'm just going
I
to
would
go
have
with
to go back and
Lisa's.
watch. Yeah, well, I'm going to go with the Diamonds and Champagne just because Anne Marie had, I mean, I was looking at those gigantic like crab claws. Did you see or it was like lobster
She did
claws?
not go 8.5 on that spread. She went
I was
10
like,
on that
oh my,
spread.
I would have had like Tupperware with me. I would have been loading things out of there.
A
And you
big
saw the
trench
gift
coat.
bags. Oh, I would have cleaned that. Like you would have just kept seeing me as an extra just at the food table. And it looked like, I loved it about the ladies of Beverly Hills. It looked like none of that stuff got touched. Like
No, and
every time
everyone
they
was
shot,
so blown
nobody
away
was
that there
eating.
was food. Everyone's like, whoa, 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 whoa. There's a setup here. They just were more interested in Jason the jeweler. And then finally, the last question before we get into the recap, we need to hear your
Oh,
TMZ
Christina. I
guy
love Christina.
impression.
So remember the TMZ guy? He was my favorite one. I think his name was Josh, and he was the one that found Raquel outside the nail salon. And Tom, and he would
He
always be
was
like, "Oh,"
the
he'd be
guy.
like, "Oh, hey, Raquel, what's going on? Are you upset that people are upset at you for cheating with Tom?" And then she'd be like, "Yeah," and then he'd be like, "Oh, I don't watch the show, and I don't really know what the big deal is." So like, he would always be like, "I don't know what's going on, and I don't think it's a big deal." Oh, okay, and he would just and he would like do Sandoval, like he was like, oh, hey Tom, are you upset your life's gone to hell? Okay, and he was like, yeah, dude, I am upset my life has gone to hell. And then Sandoval made him a friendship bracelet from Kyle Chan's store and gave it to Josh. But I think Josh's TMZ interviews were some of the best. I think he also did the Schwartz at the airport on the way to Winter House,
I remember that
and
one.
I just thought that's how crazy Scandal was to me, it created like stars of like those people that I would never have paid attention to.
Like Bethany talking about whenever she talks about Vanderpump Rules, she's also like, so this Raquel girl, I don't know, and I don't know anything about the show. I don't even know what the
Then
premise of
don't
the
talk
show is.
about it.
It
Don't
kills
talk
me.
about it's the same thing with the Howie Mandel interview, which by the way, it works in a certain way because I still talk about what a train wreck that was, or
That
even
was
the
a
Nick
pop
Vile.
culture moment that will go down in
Well,
history.
even Nick Vile says, "Oh, I'm up to season 3 on Vanderpump Rules," and it's like, it's like it's so easy to watch the show. Like, and Bethany, why would you ever come on something and say, I am not prepared. I do not know anything about this. And then Howie Mandel was like, I don't know why everybody's mad, Tom. You seem like a great guy. I love your mustache. Like, and it's like, dude, what you have this golden opportunity and you're not calling him on anything. I mean, it turned out to be an amazing show for a different way because we all made fun of it. But like, why wouldn't you take that opportunity to actually be like, this is your behavior, season 1, season 2, season 3. Do you understand? Like, I don't know, that those are frustrating about those people because they get the big interviews and they're usually not prepared.
Yeah, I feel like what these people need to understand is, and maybe this is why they go to the Bethanies and the Howie Mandels, the ones that aren't really knowledgeable. Because if they went to someone like you who knew every single detail, season 8, episode 4 of this, this happened, maybe they would feel like they would look awful. So it's
Yeah.
almost like
It's
it's like
easy.
a
It's
vanilla.
easy. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's very vanilla, but the thing is they don't realize sometimes that makes them look worse. And
yeah.
that's the other thing is just like you think you're protecting yourself but you're not. And the only way the only way to get out of something is through, like throw yourself into that lion's den, ask like, answer those tough questions. I think I'm still curious about so much of this stuff of Scandival that hasn't been covered. Like, I'm so curious even about the Erica Jane case. Like, new things keep being brought up where it's like, I understand that the show is trying to tell a story, but sometimes I'm like, can we just stop? Or even when we get to the reunions with Andy, I'm like, can we just pause and like read through court documents with everybody in the room? Or let's watch. Don't show me the flashback. Show the ladies the flashback and have them all watch it together as a group and then comment. Because I know these flashbacks backwards and forwards like most of the audience. I want the ladies to watch and then give their take once they saw it.
I feel like we need like a flow chart. Like we need some sort of, there's this girl on TikTok who gets really like her videos go viral because she takes pop culture experiences or moments and she does like, okay, so this happened and then this happened and then this
Was that
happened and then this
Abby?
happened. I can't remember her name,
Okay.
but
Okay. Yeah.
she's awesome. Okay, so let's talk really fast. Well, let's mention really fast that Larsa and Marcus are now apparently refollowing each other.
Oh God, what a Valentine's Day miracle that was. I mean, but that's wild that actually made Super Bowl news on Sunday that they had unfollowed each other and he unfollowed her during the Super Bowl and he was watching with his dad Michael Jordan and posted a picture on his stories of that, which I thought was so funny and sad at the same time. But then they refollowed each other and we had pictures of them entering Lars's apartment with some like snacks. So we don't know, but Andy says, he's hosting the Traders reunion, which they were both on, and he's going to try to get some information.
When
This
does that
time,
shoot? Do we know?
I think next week.
Okay.
But when you're in the public eye and that kind of public thing happens and we all start making memes and talking about it, it's hard to come back from that because a lot of our real feelings come out and relationships are tough anyways. Imagine having all of our stupid thoughts and comments and memes on top of that. I thought it was, I didn't expect them to call it this soon, But I think once they called it, they should just call it. I mean, are we going to now have another breakup on top of this and another breakup? Like how long will this go on for?
Well, I think if you're breaking up and then you hang out like within days and are bringing snacks into an apartment together, my guess is that this is like an immature. You know what? We're over. Block on Instagram, and
It's
then
like high
actually,
school.
it's total high school, and it's giving separation anxiety. Plug their
Yeah.
podcast, but it's giving
Well,
this
I
like.
want to talk about their podcast, by the way, in a sec. Yeah.
Have you actually listened to an episode?
Okay, so I did this bit on my show on Tuesday, I think, because everybody was talking, oh, will the podcast continue? Guess when the last podcast of Separation Anxiety with Marcus and Larsa was?
I feel like it was like October, November. No, it
It
was
was
like
November. It was
November.
November. Their longest episode is like 23 minutes. Like, and I then, I went on to talk about the same thing with Meredith and Seth Marks, Hanging by a Thread. They were having 24-minute podcasts. They finally released a new episode February 1st, but before then, their last episode was in November. So they took 2 months off. I'm tired of these podcasts that are kind of seem designed just to be storylines on Bravo shows. It's like go into podcasting because you love it. You have something to say because you're going to get listens because of who you are, but then take it seriously. Like I hate that when I see it's like 23 minutes and then half of those are going to be ads.
Yep. 100%. Well, I think that the reason that Larsa and Marcus's podcast could not have been longer than 23 minutes is because you need to have time to have sex 5 times a day. Like there's no, if you are doing a 37
I do
minute
really
podcast,
believe that. I mean, I was like, oh, BS.
Ryan, you're in a relationship, right? You're in a relationship.
I'm lucky 5 times a year. What are you talking about?
Well, I'm sorry. My husband would not stand for that, but 5 times a day, I don't. How can she build her tequila brand?
Yeah, she's too busy. She's hurting
That's
all the
what
time.
she means when she said, "I'm
constant
always
lovemaking.
working."
Yeah, she's always
Alexia is like, "We're working too," and Larsa's like, "But are you having sex 5 times a day?" Because that, my friend, is like that takes 6 hours. But think about the calorie burn.
Sure. I
Silver
mean,
linings.
that is great. But by the way, let's plug Factor again. If you're looking for a good calorie burn meal, no. Yeah, it's weird. But everything about Larsa is kind of weird. Everything is, and the thing is, even when I started to believe in Marcus and Larsa's relationship, you can't escape the fact that this is Scottie Pippen's ex-wife. Scottie Pippen was on like the Dynasty with Michael Jordan. I'm not a sports guy, but I even know how legendary that is. It's just weird. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I know Michael Jordan's a billionaire, but even he's a human. That's weird to Michael Jordan. You're never going to be able to escape the fact that that is Michael Jordan's son and you used to be married to Scottie Pippen. And like, I'm weirdly protective now of Larsa because I kind of feel sad for her because it always feels like she needs this relationship. And I hate that. I hate that for her.
Yeah, it does. I do get a vibe from Larsa of an insecurity, a major insecurity, probably hence why she's changed her physical, appearance so many times. I really liked Larsa on Traders. So
yeah, me too.
And then she's had a couple of good episodes this season of Miami. So I really I started the season because that was the episode where she, questioned Gertie on her cancer. But like, how do you know? How do you know you have cancer, Gertie?
And she was like, oh, well, that was edited down from a 45-minute conversation. At no point in that 45-minute conversation, you should have ever said that. Like, never. I don't care if it was a 3-hour conversation. It's like, hey, you sure about that cancer thing? Are you sure? Or are you just tired maybe? Like, that's so ridiculous. Totally. It's like so big for her to share that with. And if I was Gertie too, I would not be sharing it with Larsa in the first place. Like these people with information on these shows, they're like, it's like a suicide mission. Like, you have to share information because you're on this show, but it's never going to be good for you. Know they're going to talk shit behind your back. You just know. And I find that like insane that they have to go season after season knowing that they're going to be backstabbed, lied about. They're going to talk behind you. Like if something real happens in your life, you're going to have to hear harmful, like hurtful things where you're not on camera, where they're like, well, I don't believe her. I think she's horrible. That's hard.
Yep. I couldn't I mean, I could not handle watching the confessionals or the interviews and hearing everyone just talk shit about every single thing I do.
Oh, that's gonna be the worst is after the fact watching because they're snarkier in the talking heads. Like Dorit won't say things to people's face, but Dorit is a sniper in her talking heads, and she thinks she's being all cute because that's where the child bride comment was in with
Yep.
Crystal. And it's like, damn, because there's one thing to be funny in your talking heads, but when you're completely like cutting somebody like off at the knees, that's you got to realize you're gonna have to deal with that at some point.
I also think Kyle is a little cutting in her confessional. So let's get into last night's Beverly Hills. Um Obviously we have only one more episode of the season of
Thank
both Beverly Hills
God.
and Miami. Did you
Yeah.
say thank God?
Yeah.
Okay,
When
because
I
it's
heard at the
been
very end of
painful.
like next week on the season finale of Beverly Hills, I was like, yes, all right, we
It's
did it. We
because it's
made it
been super
through.
painful for you to
No,
watch. Like it's been awful.
no, not. I think there's a lot of work involved. Like, cause I'll recap the full episode, and like I'll do that. But also, I think we started really strong, and we had so many iconic scenes with like name them, and we had like the Kyle and Morgan Wade and the Mauricio, and they kind of teased that out, and I think it kind of lost a little steam about maybe the second episode when they were in Barcelona.
Hmm.
And I just kind of like, okay, let's get to it. Let's finish it because if Kyle's not going to be completely honest about what's going on in her life, then I don't know what the point to keep going is because I don't need to know anymore about Sutton's esophagus, her beautiful dainty esophagus. I don't need to see Sutton going on any more dates. Like I get what we're doing. Erica Jane's wanting apologies from the other ladies for some reason, which is ridiculous. So I think, yeah, let's end it. Let's end it for the season, get to the reunions, and rebuild with Kyle's new life next season.
Yeah, if we ever get there with Kyle, I mean, I'm sure I can't imagine Kyle will actually leave, but I've been saying this entire season, I love Sutton. I actually really like Garcelle. I actually really like Crystal, even though I feel like Crystal's
Yeah.
just not being highlighted on the show at all. I,
Well, she's
I'm
too much of a reliable narrator. She's too much of somebody that's not insane enough. It's like if Crystal says something, I'll usually kind of trust it because she's not outwardly batshit crazy. But I think that also can sometimes get a ding against her because she doesn't have that insane quirk that you can really, hone in on and exploit. Like Anna Marie tried to bring her into something and it was kind of ridiculous.
Well, it just made Anna Marie look horrible, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But to me, I think Crystal is so grounded, which is exactly what I think you're talking about. She's so
Yeah.
grounded that it's a struggle to get her to really kind of amp up in any way on the show. But why do I feel like they're never going to get rid of her?
You really don't think they're going to get rid of her?
Crystal?
Oh, I thought Anna Marie.
Oh,
No, I
Anna
think
Marie is.
I think they're going to keep Crystal because so I have that concept of a reliable narrator of like somebody you can trust as an audience member, somebody that you're like, okay, like maybe like somebody that is not completely lying. And for me, that's Crystal because you can't trust Erica, you can't like Sutton's wild. Kyle's not going to like really kind of tell you the truth and she'll hide from things. So I think they'll keep her because of that. I just unfortunately think you'll eventually get put. I always wonder for those people, do they feel pressure to amp up the crazy in their life? Do they feel pressure to actually get into a fight with their husband? Do they does it cause does wanting to stay on the show cause internal strife in their families on the off season? Because it's like SNL, like they audition now to get on these shows, and then Lauren Michaels usually doesn't tell them if they're coming back until like a month before they start filming again. So they're like they don't know if they have a job. Like it's kind of innate pressure.
It's a really interesting concept, this idea of like, let's take Whitney Rose from Salt Lake City. She had this whole storyline where she and her husband, Justin, were really struggling this season. And I didn't see one struggle. It was the most odd. It's literally like she's creating marital issues for
Yeah,
the show. And
yeah.
that was the first time I've ever really seen it that obvious, where it was like, shit, I have nothing else. So we got to just go with this
She
one.
was like, I can't do a podcast because Seth and Meredith have that, so I guess I've got to create marriage issues.
and and
Like
and and do my prism event because sound baths are
sound
all the
bites.
rage.
Oh my God, Lisa Barlow, I respect our relationship.
But please don't talk about that in my home. I struggle.
Lisa Barlow's cussing like a truck driver in her home. Like, oh my God, you guys, BFF shit in the butt. What are you? Don't talk like that. Justin's not home and my kids are scared of you, Lisa Barlow.
Charcuterie.
Oh, so he says, I'm healing my marriage, healing her
I'm
healing journey.
healing. She's
I'm
on a healing
healing,
journey.
healing journey. What's
Healing.
going on?
She is healing her marriage with Justin. Yeah, no, I really struggle with that. But so this is interesting. Now, the one story that I am driven to every single week is the Kyle story. And I agree. They came in strong with obviously that first scene between her and Mauricio about the 5 tattoos where no one could understand like what was she so angry about and why was he looking like he had just walked into the Twilight Zone. He seems so Mauricio's personality this season of Real Housewives has taken every ounce of like suave, hot, sexy Mauricio that everyone always looked at him as like the hottest house husband.
Yeah.
And he just became this confused, like, what
He's like,
person? And
love bean. What do you love bean?
love
What? Another,
being
like I'm opening 80 billion, the agency office is love bean. I don't know.
Love Bean, Love Bean. The agency is so good, Love Bean. 85 with his white teeth that shock me. It's like Jody's teeth on Miami.
Oh,
Lisa's
poor
husband,
Jody.
boyfriend's
Yeah.
Jody's teeth. There needs to be a cutoff of how white your veneers can go.
Oh my God. Have you seen some of the Jersey Shore cast? Like Ronnie, like has like, yeah, I feel like sometimes I'm about to have a stroke. If he closes his mouth, it creates like a strobe effect. And you're like, oh my God.
They have to put like a seizure warning, like an epilepsy
Yeah. Like,
warning at the beginning.
it's
Whenever
too white.
Ronnie speaks, close your eyes.
Yeah.
I feel okay. So the Kyle and the Mauricio storyline, I agree, it came in hot and then it totally fizzled through the season. And now at the end of this episodes, they're trying to like, kind of shove it in there. I will say, watching Kyle and Mauricio sit at that bar. Number one, is that the required space to shoot at Kyle's house has to be at that bar?
Yeah, either that or that like little sitting area, it seems
Two
like.
places. That's it. They have the most insanely large home, and every scene is at that bar. I find it
Yeah.
really interesting. Maybe it's
It
like
makes
the
it
best
look like they
lighting.
live in like a 2-bedroom apartment or something, and they have like 8,000 square feet, but it's only in those two. They must have like, no, Love Bean. We will not shoot our family in these rooms. No, just these rooms.
Yeah, I mean, we have seen The Office. We've seen kind of moments, but this is the like main set on the Friends sitcom. This is
Yeah.
like the coffee shop scene. So they're sitting there at the bar. Kyle is begrudgingly drinking a non-alcoholic beer, and the reason that she's doing it is because I am assuming they set it up like, let's have like a date night between Kyle and Mauricio, and let's see them kind of like
She's so
connect.
checked out. She's checked out. I mean,
Okay,
she's so
if your
checked out.
girlfriend or your wife talked to you the way that she did, which was like, he literally hates him.
Yeah. He was like, oh, therapy is fun. She's like, I wouldn't call it fun.
It's not what I would
That's
do.
not what I would call it. And I mean, literally like checking her watch. I'm like shocked she wasn't doing an Amazon live while she was talking to Mauricio. Like she does not want to be there at all. And that's how sad, like, and I've seen that. I've been a part of that, like in that relationship where one person is completely checked out and you can feel that. The only thing that's funny is I know Mauricio feels that as well, but there's a camera on him. So he's not going to be like, yo, what the F? Like, why are you treating, like, what's going on that
Like,
you're
why are you being such a
not even
bitch?
treating me like a human right now?
Yeah.
That's what's so frustrating about them as a couple. They're so media trained that they know to like keep it completely like at one level, don't go past that level. And that's what's frustrating because they're not going to have those real conversations that we want to see from them.
Yeah. And the second he touched her hand, she literally, her body recoiled. It was giving, and that's the second time we've seen that because one time in his office, she was walking out and he kissed her. And it was as if she was getting like accosted by a stranger. I mean, it's the strangest experience, but this goes to show she's ready to divorce him and separate. That's going to happen in the next episode. The People magazine dropped and they announced their separation, and she is already there, but for whatever reason, Mauricio's just not in on it. He's not getting it.
I no, I just think if he was allowed to like continually keep opening these offices, have her be like right by his side, like the marriage would keep going, but she wants something better for herself. It's just interesting though, is because if you watch that, forgot which season it was, where he was like, told everybody of like, I'm going to do the agency. It means a lot of time away from the family. I think I need this many years, but I think like, and
They
they're all
were
like,
sitting
yeah,
and eating
they're
lunch
like, it's
in
worth
his
it.
office.
Yeah, it's all worth it. And now we see that it wasn't worth it if the relationship is the main thing. But when you have that many offices, like he said, 85 offices, and they're going to have 100 by years in, that's an insane amount of work. Even if you're just a figurehead type, that, yeah, like, and if Kyle all of a sudden has changed the way she feels, which she has the right to, it's just unfortunate because he doesn't have the time to probably put the work in necessary to make her feel desired and special in the way that Mauricio does not have time to write a country album. That's what I'm basically saying. He does not have time
He
to
doesn't have
be
time
what
to have
Kyle
her
wants.
make her fall in love with him, right? And
Yeah.
eat chocolate covered strawberries in a kitchen together, like sexually, and
Yeah.
work out in an 80s outfit together.
I
I
love you, Kyle.
think I think that I think everything you're saying is right. Kyle and many, many women, I imagine, just stay in the marriage forever, just out of convenience or whatever. But Kyle is coming into her own, and truly, she's decided, and you can see it. She's already decided, and that's why everyone that says, like, "Is there a chance? Do you think that Kyle can come back to this marriage?" I'm like, absolutely not. It's like it's like drinking too much Captain Morgan in college. You get sick, you vomit off it. You'll never touch Captain Morgan or be able to smell it again. I feel like she's already there with Mauricio. She's like, I can never go back into that.
And she knows he's, basically a good person. She knows he's like, they raised a beautiful family. 23 years is what an insane run for a Beverly Hills marriage to begin with.
27.
27-year marriage. That's insanely successful. But yeah, like Kyle has now gotten a taste of what, of something different that actually makes her heart sing, which I would be so much more supportive of if she would actually fully, honestly talk about it. But she is treating herself like a real person, which she has the right to do, and not share it with us. I think it's just frustrating then for the audience because it leaves us so many blanks that we're like, well, I think this is how she's feeling, or I want to support her, but it's hard because we're just seeing these minuscule little scenes and then fighting over esophaguses and BS like that. When I'm like, we've got a real story here with somebody that's a first season housewife we've watched this relationship for so
We feel
long.
so invested.
And so that's why it is kind of wild, because they were one of the real relationships that even if there were cheating rumors with Mauricio, we'd be like, oh, it's never going to change. Nothing's going to happen. And then to
Yeah.
throw the Morgan Wade relationship, whatever that is, on top of it, my question to Kyle is, do you understand, even if this is just solely strictly a friendship, do you understand with everything that you've done, why we would think it is potentially more? Because it's teased out to us like it's something more. Like, we watched Kyle this season be so giddy every time Morgan was on screen. Like, oh my God, Morgan. Oh my God, Morgan. Oh my God. Like, oh, you hang up first. No, you hang up first. And it's like, high school romance to,
100%. You can't lie. Like, you can't lie about those feelings. That chemistry comes through the screen. We all wish we had that chemistry. That feeling is amazing when you're feeling that.
yeah.
And here we are in February of 2024, and she's on Entertainment Tonight. She's doing these press articles, still talking about the fact, like, oh, it's just paparazzi shooting Morgan only and cutting out the rest of my friends. So it makes me so sad that she's still not being like open and honest, because
Well, she might be open and honest with her real life. She's just not being open and honest on the show. And I think Kyle really puts that differentiation in there, and she's leaning so hard on it. But I thought Kyle was the one that was trying to get like, yeah, talk about that esophagus, Anna Marie. Yeah, talk about this, because she didn't want to have to face what was actually going. She was so offended when the ring question at the THC dinner, she was so offended how this would actually get brought up, when it was like, yo, just say, yeah, no, I got it myself. It's fine. Like, there's no reason to be offended. Like, she freaked out. And I think, it's hot potato. Housewives is a game of hot potato. Who's got the hot potato? And Kyle has it this season, and she's trying to throw it to everybody else, when it's like, lean in, it's yours, share with us. It's going to be okay. You'll be celebrated for us, but let us know what's going on honestly, so we don't have to find out from TMZ and podcasts.
Yeah, it definitely creates a divide between your audience and you, and that connection, which is why a lot of people sadly have turned on Kyle in the last year or so with this whole story. But for me, I still find Kyle like incredibly interesting to watch. I want
I
more,
love
and that's
Kyle.
and we're going to be watching Buying Beverly Hills, because the
Yeah,
storyline is going to
season 2.
continue on to there.
Yeah, I talked to somebody over at Netflix this weekend, and they were like, "Yeah, they're expecting like a really big second season of Buying Beverly Hills because of all of this drama, and all the daughters are on that show, so it's going to be brought up over there." And so it's interesting the now the Richards, the Umansky Richards multiverse, or like the extended universe of now we're going to go over to Netflix. It helps all of these shows. I just want them to give us something, since we're going to go turn it out, like turn our eyes onto that, then give us something in return.
Yeah, I do feel like Bravo has, well, I shouldn't say Bravo, but Beverly Hills in general has kind of like dropped the what's the word? Like it dropped the ball. Like it hasn't really given us anything insanely good this season. Another thing that, the Sutton storyline, right? Everyone has a very clear storyline, and Sutton's storyline is finding herself and kind of growing out, like self development with the horse and with the marriage, kind
And
of coming to an
Merce,
end.
and yeah, like all of that
And
stuff is
Merce.
like she's
And
finding as a 53-year-old woman, like how she can finally stand on her own 2 feet, even though she's getting about like, $400,000 after taxes each month from her, ex. So it's funny, but like, I actually enjoy the storyline. It's just that we keep getting reminded that's her storyline. And I mean, Sutton is fascinating to me. And I love that she's actually, because she was getting attacked by Erica and Rinna so much, that I love that she is still here, and she's kind of grown. She's grown into herself. She's kooky. She's funny in ways that I don't think she knows she's funny. And it'll be interesting because potentially she will be a villain one season.
I can't imagine when that's going to happen. I don't know if Sutton has it in her, because I
Oh, I
think,
do.
okay, this is honestly what I think. I think Sutton is a little bit, well, she's definitely a quirky and oddball. She's so relatable for that reason, right? She's kind of like all over. She's a little disheveled. She's kind of lonely. She shares about her stories and her ups and her downs and her vulnerabilities. And that's like a little bit of the Taylor Swift phenomenon, where Taylor Swift is also a little quirky and a little odd and a little uncomfortable sometimes, but shares so openly and vulnerably about her life. And I think that's why women in general really gravitate towards these people. And I know that like Teddy Mellencamp and Kyle, they've all said for season after season that Sutton is pandering to Twitter and like the audience and whatever. And I'm like, no, I just think this is who she
No, that's
is.
who she is. I've like, I hung out with her at BravoCon for a minute, and like it really is who she
Yep.
is. Like she,
Did
for
she have her
better.
makeup artist with her at BravoCon with the light?
No, he wasn't there. Avi was there with her actually.
Love
And
him.
but he, like, for better or worse, she is who she is. Like she wasn't. I've seen Housewives put on airs. I've seen Housewives try to like do that thing where they pander to the audience, but like because if Sutton was truly trying to pander, she wouldn't do or say half the things that she says. Like
Totally.
I think that's so funny, and it's usually the people that are talking about pandering to the audience are the true people pandering to the audience. Like I always find it hysterical.
I think that's funny. Billy says, I love how Sutton needs a railing everywhere. She gets to Anna Marie's brunch and she's like, I
Oh good.
don't.
Oh my goodness. I don't know how to walk up these stairs. Oh goodness. Like it
Does
was like
every
3 steps.
set of three stairs have a railing? Like, and I'm missing it?
Well, Monica Garcia needed a railing in Salt Lake. Just tumbling down into that basement.
I mean, that railing was the life or death situation over there. One is that Sutton versus Kyle's storyline was made bigger than it actually was. It was hyped so much in the start of the season that they fight and they haven't even fought so much. Well, other than the name scene, it has been for the most part actually really friendly between the two of them. And that's why I find it interesting that in real life they're beefing.
Well, also I find it interesting of that they were like bringing up, questions about Kyle's marriage, but it's like, why did we never dig into like, even Garcelle like said one time of like, oh, who's this Morgan girl? Like, why are you all not like, who's the country singer that just popped out of nowhere all of a sudden? Because even Dorit was like, she's been hanging out with us for years. Like Dorit had met her in Paris. So I'm like, how long has Morgan been in this picture? And why are we not like, you're going to bring her on camera, but you're not fill in these blanks. And I do not like Lisa Rinna, but I will say if Lisa Rinna was there, she'd be like, tell me everything about your lesbian relationship, Kyle. Like
Own
she'd
it.
throw it out there. She would throw it out there. She would make up crap. That's the only thing Lisa was good for, is that she would not have let Kyle get away with anything. And she would have just made up storylines about Kyle and Morgan, even if they weren't true.
I
And it
think
would
they're
have gotten us to
scared.
some kind of truth.
I
Yeah,
think the women are scared of Kyle.
Kyle runs. Kyle's a number, like she's been with this show from season number 1. She
Yeah.
is Beverly Hills.
Yeah. What a thrill. Beverly Hills, what a thrill.
Yeah.
I feel like it's been a little bit of a letdown of a season. I wish we got more of Kyle, but next week we see that Kyle's white party, which by the way, last night I was at Zach Peters' event and I was with Poland Patrick, who you know from the Trump
Yeah.
world. And I was chatting with them and they were at the white party. So Paul was telling me all this good stuff. I loved like the stories are just so funny from those two. But the white party, now, number one, if someone gave you an opportunity to go to that white party, would you go, Ryan? I mean,
You
you have to dress in
know,
all white.
I make fun of Erica Jane a lot, so I don't know if I would put myself in that situation. It's like I used to find all that kind of stuff really cool and fun and like, oh, hang out with the Vanderpumpers. As I get further into all of this, like, I don't know if that's the like it would be fun for the audience to like hear behind the scenes, but I also don't want to have to deal with like somebody coming up, oh, I heard you said this about me, or I heard you said it's not comfortable. Like I get nervous at that kind of stuff anyways, and I want to always be able to say how I'm really feeling and not try to kiss somebody's ass just to go to the white
Totally.
party. And I feel like that would be involved somehow. Like if I could go there like dressed in a disguise and I could guarantee that like that would be funny as hell to watch. Like I would, yeah, from that standpoint, it would tickle me to no end to watch that. But I would just to have the jump, the what I would have to go through to get to that party to like beg somebody to invite me, like it just wouldn't be worth it in the long run. And I don't know. What about you?
I think that Mark just said something that I say this on the show all the time. I don't want to get too close to the sun. I want to stay a
Yeah.
little bit far. I don't want like drama with them. I don't want them to like think that I'm being fake to them. But the thing is, when you do meet these people in real life, you do have to be friendly and nice. Like
Yeah.
when we were at the Hollywood House Live premiere party and I'm like hanging out with Vicky and Kelly Dodd, and I'm like, oh,
The
okay.
Kelly Dodd of
So
it all, I was like, oh, what I just kind of do is like, and this happened to BravoCon. Like, I'll just turn around. Like, I almost bumped it. Like, Tom Sandoval was like 15 feet from me, and I know him a little personally, and I didn't want to have that conversation with him right now. So I literally hid. I sadly, as a grown man, hid at their hotel before that the Jeff Lewis party at BravoCon. I was like, all of a sudden, I look up and I hear Tom's voice. And I was like, oh God. And I ran 15 feet
you just
away
hear,
and I hid in the
dude.
corner. Yeah, we're like, dude, the U2 concert was amazing, dude. Oh my God. And I was like, oh my God. And then I just went in the corner and I was texting like Mediza and Sandra, who I work with. I was like, oh my God. Cause I was like, it's Thursday. Like BravoCon hasn't even started and this is already happening. And it was just one of those things where I'm like, this is insane as a grown
Well,
man. I'm hiding from Tom Sandoval.
I have to say, you are someone that is, you've talked very openly about your awkwardness and that you have like a little bit of social awkwardness in these
Yeah.
situations. Like you get sweaty. I love
Yeah,
that
big
you
time. Oh,
shock.
there's a photo from 2 BravoCons ago from me meeting Sutton for the first time, and I looked like I stepped right out of the shower, and like the picture is so horrible. I'm like closing my eyes in it, and it looks like, oh, he's gelled his hair back. It's like, no, that is straight up sweat. Like I had people that listen to the show come up to me and they would touch my back and they would be like, oh God. And I was like, yeah, no, I know I'm completely soaked. This is so embarrassing. And so it's it's like much more comfortable for me behind a mic, like it's
Yeah.
too comfortable for me. When I get out into the real world, I immediately get nervous and, it's fun after the fact, but just the mental gymnastics I go through to go out and do something is wild.
Well, I'm going to just take a moment before we get into Miami and I'm going to shout out another sponsor of the show. And this will help you, Ryan,
Oh no.
if you haven't already used Lumi.
Oh, let me-
So January has come and gone, Ryan, but it's
yeah.
not too late to start your New Year's resolution of just smelling better and sweating less and all of that. And I'm not saying that you smell because I was with you at that party and you
No,
didn't
I don't
smell
think
at all.
that's not the issue. It's just the sweat. It's nice smelling sweat. Yeah.
It's like yeah, it's as Patty Stanger would talk about the pheromones. Oh, Patty was very popular yesterday on Jeff Lewis Live.
Oh my goodness,
Oy vey.
Patty.
So honestly, if you are looking to, smell better, kind of attract more of your preferred sex partner at after the gym, maybe at the coffee shop, maybe if you're going out to a bar after a long day's work and you need a nice little refresh, you may want to consider a whole body deodorant. And Lumi is seriously safe to use anywhere on your body. Okay, you can use it on your pits, Ryan. You can use it on your under boobs. Do you have under boobs?
But is
I
this
don't. My
actually a
boobs are too
sponsor on
small.
the show? Or are you literally just trying to sell me Lumi? Like, is this
This is a
actually a sponsor?
sponsor.
Okay. Okay. I was like, listen, I'll do it. Yeah, let's do it.
You're like, Donna, I'm good. I'm good. I'm
Yeah,
good.
please.
No, it's seriously safe to use anywhere. You can use on your thigh folds, on your belly button. Oh my God, this is
Thigh
seriously written down for me. Are you guys ready for this? Everyone,
folds.
you could use it in your butt crack. You can use it on your vulva.
Oh, good. I've been looking to put something on my vulva lately. That's amazing.
Listen, your vulva, you've got
It's
loose
gonna be
lips down
clean.
there.
Yeah. Like, thank you, Lumi. My vulva is amazing now.
Your vulva can be fresh and clean, and so can your feet. It's been created by an OBGYN who saw firsthand how normal BO was being misdiagnosed and mistreated. It blocks odor all day and controls for up to 72 hours. So make sure to get your Lumi starter pack. It's perfect for new customers. It comes with a deodorant, a cream tube deodorant, a few products of your choice. I have them here. They smell phenomenal. As a special offer for listeners, new customers get $5 off a Lumi starter pack using code DANA, Donna, at lumedeodorant.com. That's LUME deodorant.com. Thank you, Lumi. Okay. Well, anyway, let's just
I
talk
feel like
a
I
little-
might get the Lumi stuck in my butt crack. Like, what if the Lumi gets stuck up there?
the more the merrier.
I
You don't put the stick in, you just wipe it.
Oh, okay. I was like, wow. Like, I just have to put it like.
It's not a suppository,
This is
Ryan.
why I don't go out. Like, I don't want to have weird things happen with my Lumi.
No one wants a Lumi stuck in their butt crack or their vulva. But you know what? I will say after this week's episode of Miami, they were throwing around dildos, cream, and Kiki had a plenty of sexual jokes. Why is Kiki the most amazing
That's a
housewife?
great, by the way, Donna, I want to compliment you on the segue from Lumi to Miami. That was truly, I saw what you did and I liked it. Yeah, no, Kiki's amazing. Kiki actually has since Kiki's still like considered a friend of, she can be like as loose as she wants to be, which I
Loose
think really
vulva or
works.
loose lips? Yeah.
All of it. Yeah. Well, I think it works in her favor. I think she's able to be that kind of raunchy person, that, she's just like, hey, listen, I'm showing up for the free drinks and the food. Like, yeah, I'll take a diamond tequila necklace. I won't wear it, but thanks for giving it to me. Like, she's fun. I think she's kind of like a little bit of the voice of the audience, but funnier.
Do you think that MJ is selling Larsa's necklace, the tequila necklace, on Poshmark right now?
No, but poor Mercedes. I was talking to her this weekend. I don't even
She
think
got a little killed there.
Yeah, no, God, I would listen. If I would, no, I would love that Larsa necklace. I would put that in my reality show museum. I think that would be hysterical. I love that there was a diamond necklace made of a tequila brand. I don't know if I would ever wear it. I mean, because also I'm a guy, but like, hell yeah, I love cheesy things like that. But I also love, it's like, Larsa, better than that. These women are going to be like, this is like, I'm now like promoting your brand because it's a diamond necklace. Like, there's something so cheesy about that I love it.
Yeah, there's a lot that Larsa just does that is just a little bit off. But we're in Mexico still, and that is kind of how the episode starts. It's like wrapping up this dinner or wrapping up this trip. To be honest, I thought they were getting along way too well for the show. Like, I need a little bit more drama because Kiki and Lisa. Number one, Kiki. Let's like all take a page out of Kiki's book, because I have never seen a housewife so self-aware, so kind of like looking at the bigger picture. And she decided that even though she was highly offended by what Lisa said to her, as she should have been the night before and the day before or whatever, she still decided she was going to go up to Lisa and kind of like smooth things over. I love that she was like, I'm taking off my sunglasses because I want you to see my sincerity. Kiki is really like, she's goals. And I think a lot of the women should learn. She could teach the empathy training class.
Yeah, I mean, I think she would actually talk very directly to Erica Jane of like, no, that is not empathy. This is empathy. Listen, look in my eyes. Look at my eyes. Like, she really tells the truth. She tells the truth. She tells it like it is. She stands up for herself. She's funny. I think there's like so many qualities. In fact, I think they might make her like a main cast member next season. And, she called out Lisa on a lot of behavior that I think Lisa is still like kind of in La La Land about how she's acting. And, I think that's really an important character, somebody that calls somebody out and is able to do it, verbally well, but still nice at the same time, and is willing to not hold grudges fully, be like, okay, listen, there's a way to work through this.
Totally, totally. Lisa is a real struggle this season. And understandably, she's gone through a lot, but it just every single episode, it's so unreal how you can go season to season, really like being in someone's corner to being like, shut up.
Well,
And
because
this has
also
been tough.
the Jody of it all, like it's like those housewives have to deal with her, but Jody, like having to go there the entire time,
Yeah, Jody.
the Jody having to be there the entire time, and she's talking about Lenny this, and like it's you feel bad all the way around. It's like a hat on top of a hat. Like, Lisa, you don't need to be doing this right now. Like, and it just then leads us to believe you think the worst. Then you're like, you're doing this because you like him, but also he's financially helping. Like, if he wasn't financially helping her at all, it would be a different story, but he is. And then it's just, it gets caught up in so many kind of weird conversations and feelings then.
I'm with you. I'm with you. And I wonder about the longevity of that relationship. Apparently, this weekend they were doing like Super Bowl things, but not together. I wonder how their relationship is going. But sometimes when you like trauma bond and you only talk about
Yeah.
one thing and then that's gone, it's like, what else? You
Yeah.
know?
I mean, it'll be interesting to see how like next year, like we're, and I mean, listen, I'm still fascinated if Lenny and his new Chippy is going to like work out. Like, it's all weird. All of that is weird. And you feel for Lisa, but you're right. Like, going into this season, a little of that shine that you felt for her is like kind of dissipated as she's picking up these pieces. And yeah, it's like, that's like such an intense thing to go through. But like the guy, he was like he called himself the boob god, like, or like boob, like, I mean, come on, like, you knew something eventually was not going to be well if this man was having lingerie party, like requested to continue to have lingerie parties at your house when you still had kids.
Yeah, it's giving Hugh Hefner vibes. It's not for me. What are your thoughts on Alexia in general? When Alexia has scenes with her son, I I have such a heart for her because that has got to be the most challenging thing
Yeah.
ever. But I wish we saw more of that side. I feel like there's just so much of Alexia that is hard to kind of like.
Alexia is very, like, I always like think of her as the Miami Teresa in a lot of ways, and it's
It's
really
not the
hard
same.
to, yeah, it's really hard to, because she does have those scenes, those family scenes where you're like, wow, like, what a mother, what a, this is kind of this amazing soft side, and you get to really learn more about her, and but then when she gets into scenes with the other ladies, I really don't like people that stop scenes or edit scenes. And like earlier in the season when Anna came back and she was like, no, 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 I'm out, and like just walked away. Like, I don't think that should be allowed. I don't like it. I'm like, no, you're here to face things head on. I'm sorry that you're surprised about Anna, but like, nobody is bigger than the show. You can't determine when you leave. Like, I hate people that rip mic packs off. I hate people. Like, I don't think that should be, I think housewives should get fined whenever that happens. Like, I feel like, no,
They
no,
say
no, this
bravo,
is a show.
bravo, fucking bravo.
Yeah, no, if you ruin filming, if you take your mic pack off, like, that's a no. We are here to film this, uncomfortable or not. And nobody, when these ladies sign up, like, I don't know if they're under some impression that it's like, go watch Bravo. It's not supposed to be a sunshine and roses. Like, watch what you're on before you sign up for what you're doing. So I mean, Alexia, the family stuff is really what makes you love her. And the other stuff, she's iconic in certain ways, but sometimes I think that Marisol and her relationship, I think sometimes is a detriment more than a positive. And I would be curious what she would be like without Marisol
Yeah,
in
it's like
scenes.
taking away your kind of safety net because Marisol does have that comic relief that just kind of like keeps them going. Alexia, to me, I just feel like every single thing that you just said, if I was Alexia and you were talking to me, the whole time I'd be like, uh-huh, and me, and yes, me. And she's constantly like involving herself. So that conversation when Larsa is talking about, I work really hard on this, and she has to say, well, we all work really hard.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm sorry, what? Like, who would respond that way? But she's always just kind of she has a problem. I feel like with everything and with everyone. She's a tough one for me to follow. Julia, what are your thoughts on Julia and Adriana?
Yeah, they were on Watch What Happens Live last night, and I
Yeah,
think they're so. I mean, Adriana is such a kook. I mean, I like that she's out there performing at Gay Pride. I like that she's working with, Gloria Stefan's husband. Like, I'm just like, what is going on? Like, it's
Emilio.
Emilio, Julia, by the way, Julia loves to kiss each one of these ladies. I love Julia is so hypersexual with these ladies
It's
that I'm just like,
insane.
it is funny. Like, I like them. I like their friend. I mean, it's obviously not at the extreme of Alexia and Marisol, but I do think like I like Adriana because Adriana tries to stir up shit, but she's really not that good at it. She's like, it's like she doesn't have the manual for it or something. So she always gets one or two things wrong. And I think that's kind
I
of
have
so like
flatulence.
yeah, like so I watch the show with like even when things don't go as planned, that's what I usually find funny. So it's like I'll if you're watching as a straight narrative, sometimes this is really bad, but if you're watching of like, oh my god, she's trying to stir up shit and she really can't, like that kind of attempt and fail to me is funny. Like and I feel like everybody kind of just like shoos Adriana away. Like they
Well,
don't really they're like, oh whatever.
it was the scene when they were in the bus on their way to Lars's event, and she goes, "There's only 5 of us," and everyone's like, "No, there's 6," and she's like, "Wait, only 5? No, there's 6. Oh, forgot about Adriana." And that is just so indicative of the
I
show.
know. I know. And Adriana's even aware that she's not liked. And I think that is funny as well. Having to like it's what I always talk about with Vanderpump Rules. It's like the funny part of this show is that they all are forced to be around each other now. And you can tell they don't like each other. And sometimes to me, that's enjoyable to watch because I'm like, none of these people like each other at all. And they have to like act like they like partying together. And that's like if you go over to Miami, it is funny. Like they write Adriana off completely and sometimes deservedly, but she's always just popping up like,
She's always just
hey, what can I
there.
start? Yeah.
She's like, "Fire, fire."
Ah!
I thought, the episode itself, other than the Kiki and Lisa storyline, which I thought was nice, Nicole and her dad, that whole storyline, I understand that what we're doing here is because he sadly did pass away. But I find it interesting that we're spending so much energy and time on that
Well, the only
ISIS.
reason ISIS, what a name.
Can you
The
imagine?
I really a name change would probably I don't know who knows, but I mean the reason we're doing that is because her storyline last season was about her dad, so we're trying to see the flip side of that and Dr. Nicole, growing and being the bigger person in this situation and saying, even though my dad is this and this, I can still try to find ways to meet him and that obviously is going to be much more powerful when, it is announced that he has passed away on the show. But I think, that's what that is, but it's just wild because, you're going to hear some insanity coming out of this man's mouth where he's like, I'd marry you right now. I'd marry you right now tonight. I'm going to have kids with somebody. It might as well be you. Like he's just talking insanity. She's an actual doctor. She's married to a lawyer. I mean, it just goes to show you no matter how good your life is, you're always going to have that one thing that you can't control and that you have to like kind of try to find a way to make a part of your life. Like, oh, my life is so perfect, except my dad is dating somebody 33 years younger than him and he wants to have kids with her. Like,
And
she
didn't he
has to deal
say,
with that.
and he said it in it. He said that if I don't have kids with ISIS, I'm going to have kids with, like, he'll bring up another terrorist name. I'm going to have kids with Hamas. Okay. If not ISIS, Hamas is next on the list. I love Nicole. Nicole and Gertie are like untouchable for me. Those two, and now Kiki is on the list. So Nicole, Gertie, and Kiki, those 3 are just phenomenal housewives. The
Yeah.
rest do make a good cast. I feel bad. I was a little tough on Miami earlier in the season, but I really do like Miami. I think it's a beautiful kind of cultural show. It's very colorful. It's very loud. Very loud.
Yeah.
And I find it interesting. I really do have fun with that show. So as we wrap up, are you watching Southern Hospitality?
You know what? I've started. I was on the treadmill this week and I started. So I'm up to
Are
episode
you trying
6.
to show off that you work out? Is that like what
Oh
that
no,
was?
believe me, if I was, I mean, I wish I was showing off. Or no, I'm barely hanging on to life. No, I'm up to episode 6, and I know it ends this Thursday. So I got up to the part where TJ was letting Joe Bradley's girl know that he made out with
That's exactly where
Gaston.
I am.
That's where I'm at right now, and I'm like, yeah, it's a fun,
I
like
like
walking
it.
on a treadmill. It's a fun show to watch.
I think this is 100% the next Vanderpump. Like, I feel like this has legs.
They're trying to make it. They're really trying to make it. And I feel like that's going to be interesting to see the behavior encouraged by these young folks of like, hey guys, the show needs you to cheat, just any kind of bad behavior. We need you to really lean into that.
Totally. And then Summer House is coming. Just under a week. We got Summer House.
Oh
I'm so
God, we're
excited.
gonna have to see that.
Don't be sad about it. This is good. Don't
Wait,
we?
somebody's saying in the comments, Sarah's saying Ryan and
Mm,
Justin were a little off to who's Sarah? Who's
mm-hmm.
Sarah? Who is
Exactly.
Sarah? No, I
Exactly.
don't know who Sarah is. Wait, who is Sarah?
Sarah from
And
Texas.
then wait, likely. Oh, I know. Likely only said it because our dear Ryan is on the show. Wait, does Sarah have a problem with me? I don't.
Not you.
Oh, I don't. Okay, I don't.
Not you.
Sorry,
I'll
I don't.
text
I'm
you.
not. I don't follow the goings
Good.
on of behind the
Good.
scenes. But
Stay
I
far
thought me
away.
and Justin were actually pretty good today.
You
I
guys
thought it
were
was. I had a
phenomenal.
blast. I had a blast. So sorry, Sarah from Texas. I had a blast.
I have to say,
Um,
Ryan Bailey and Justin Martindale, I just said it to you right before we started our live. I said that the two of you know radio, you know how to podcast, you know how to communicate, you know how to like lead one thing into another in a very seamless way. You guys are really, really good together on those shows.
yeah.
Like Jeff pairing you together is
Yeah, he
scissoring you
was
together. When
really
Jeff makes you guys scissor, it works.
But yeah, sorry, Sarah from Texas. How dare you? How dare you?
I can't.
Oh my
I can't.
God.
I can't.
Podcast wars. Wow. Oh my
No,
goodness.
Ryan, we're gonna have to go for a drink and talk.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
can't wait to see how sweaty you get in the conversation.
God, I don't really get to like be a part of like the conversations that go around these shows, but it always is fascinating when you hear like, oh my God, all this drama is going on behind the scenes, and you're like, wait, what? Like it's really wild. Like I don't I
I think it's
insane.
better that you just remain, you're flying high, you're above it. You're above the drama. You're living your best life. Where can people find you if they don't know
Oh
who
yeah,
you are?
yeah.
Which would be insane.
Well, the podcast is So Bad It's Good with Ryan Bailey. We do tons of shows. The Vanderpump Rules recap is like a line by line recap. It's insane. That's out right now. Beverly Hills recap will be out tomorrow. We do a pop culture roundup on Monday. There's also a patreon.com/. So Bad It's Good. I'm covering Traders over there. We're doing recaps of Traders. There's like 400 episodes that have never been on the main feed over there. And the Instagram, So Bad It's Good with Ryan Bailey. It's also on YouTube as well. I'll be at the Crappy Awards this Saturday. So hopefully some of you guys will be out there. And Dosers, I love the chat. You guys killed it in the chat. This
What
is
do you
really
call
exciting.
What do you call your listeners? Do you call them anything?
Ryan is the crystal of Bravo content creators. What does that mean? Are people
Oh,
just
the
now being
grounded
mean?
one. You're the
Oh, I was
grounded one
like,
that
I was
doesn't
like, are
get in
people
the.
being mean? I was like, oh my God.
No, you're just the quiet one. You're like the grounded one that doesn't get involved in the drama. I'm
Okay. I was like, oh my God. And then
I'm
people mean
scared
I don't have a
to
storyline? Oh no.
I'm scared to know what mine would be. I feel like people would give me a bad one.
See,
Like
that's
I'm gonna get
when I
Alexia.
talk to you, I'm like, I sometimes don't get to like follow all the ins and outs of like drama between the pod because I'm so busy putting out the show and then like in my own little like stupid head that I don't. So when I hear about drama, like, or when I hear about drama with Jeff, I'm like, what? Because like all my experiences with Jeff has been so positive, like, and we don't like text or call. So it's like I go and we laugh for an hour and I'm like, this is really fun. Like, or I get to laugh with Justin and then you hear all this stuff and you're like, wait, what? What is going on? Like it blows my mind. And it's crazy because some people
It's
love that drama.
it's become a very meta experience being a podcaster, being a content creator, because between like we're talking about these people, but people are also talking about us, like our listeners, right? And they're pitting each other, us
I
against each
know.
other.
And that's so weird because I've always been like the more the merrier. Like, and I've been,
Like you like
I've
an
heard
orgy?
no. I won't even
Not
take
in
my
bed.
shirt off.
Not
I
in
don't even
bed.
take my shirt off in the shower. But like, no, it's like I feel like the more the merrier in terms of podcasting. We can all like exist and like help each other and things like that. So when you do hear about it and you're like, oh my God, or like people, but also it helps shows. Like when you get involved in the drama, it seems to help. And my thing is, I want to be here for a long time. I don't want to be a flash in the pan. I want to be reliable, somebody that you can keep coming back to that will talk about this stuff. And so I don't find it helpful, even though it could like be good for the show momentarily when you get involved with drama. I think overall, I just don't want that to be a part of it for better or worse, you know?
No, you're right. You're right. And I've done a lot of like, I mean, this is like we're giving an extra extended venti triple grown and long and hard episode of Daily Dose of Donna. But I do think that the drama part of it is something that I need to learn to just like not get involved. I'm too sensitive, I think, sometimes, and too
Oh, yeah.
like quick to react. And so I'm doing a lot of work, and I'm going to see Dr. Jen, Erica's therapist, to learn how not. No, no.
Oh, wait, are you really? You're seeing Dr. Jen, man?
She's trying to teach me how to be empathetic to all the podcasters that say mean things to me. Joe says that I'm like the Julia of Bravo content creators. You say something innocent but gets misinterpreted by some creators, which drags you into unnecessary drama. Yeah, that like for example, Joe says that I say, "How many times has Donna said long and hard today?" Now they're gonna be like, "Donna is so sexual."
Oh my God, she's so sexual with the chat. It's gross. It's too
It's like it's
much.
yeah, exactly.
Too
Well,
much.
I'm gonna yes, I'm Julia, and I'm gonna try to make out with every single person that I see, only women. I hope you guys are having an amazing Thursday. Tonight is Traders. Everyone watch it
Oh
tonight. Go
yeah.
check out Ryan Bailey's show. There's enough content in your ear holes for 3 years if you go and listen to
I don't even
Ryan.
know how listeners do it and like how they keep up, not with only my show, but every show. And like, it must be like, there's so many Bravo shows and then podcasts. Like I truly, sometimes I'm like, man, these audiences must get livid when like 30 new Bravo podcasts pop up every week of like, wow. I don't know.
You find
Anyways.
your faves. I think you find your faves. And
Yeah.
like I like the way I listen because it's hard for me to listen, but I have like my people and I like certain shows of theirs, like maybe if they covered just this show or whatever. But you know, we're so lucky because there's obviously BravoCon, it sells out like crazy. There's so many people that are into this.
Yeah, I did a whole thing on Monday or Tuesday's episode about Bravo ratings, and if you break down the Bravo ratings, if the Bravo audience, they are the most. It was like out of all the cable channels, they're the audience that will come back for the most shows on their network than any other network. So say like
Wow.
Max, like, oh, I'll watch a couple shows on Max, but Bravo, people that watch Bravo will watch the most Bravo shows and different iterations than any other fan base. And I think that's something to really be proud of like, wow, what a strong brand that Bravo has built, that the audience is like, yeah, give me more, give me more. I think that's really exciting.
I think if you know that if a is a Bravo show, it's at least got that Bravo vibe, and you at least will give it a try. And
Yeah.
then sometimes like Southern Hospitality, I didn't expect, but it sucked me in, and now
Oh,
I'm
I get
upset.
upset when a new show sucks me in. I'm like, no, I have to spend more hours watching. I want them to put like on podcasts how you can speed it up to 2 times. I want to be able to watch these Bravo shows at like 2 times the speed because I have to watch them like 2 or 3 times to like before I talk about them. And you're just
Yeah.
like, oh, let's speed it up already, you know?
I know. Oh my gosh. Well, I hope
Okay.
no one had to
Anyways,
speed us up. Ryan, you're the best. Thank you so much. You guys, dosers, thank you. See you tomorrow. And make sure to
bye
follow Ryan.
guys. Thanks,
Bye.
dosers. Do I just leave the studio? What do I